Welcome. My name is Phil Anthony. I'm with the ICC as the ICC Digital Code Specialist. And this webinar here today, Thursday, February 16th, is going to go over the features of the platform of the ICC Digital Codes Premium. As I'm going through, please feel free to post questions in the chat. And as we go through the slides and the web presentation, I'll check that every once in a while to see if there's questions relating to the section or topic that I'm in, and we'll read those out for everyone's benefit. And then also at the end of the presentation, which probably should only take about 30 or 40 minutes, we will open up the microphone so you can ask questions aloud, ask specific questions about, from your organization's objectives and how Digital Codes Premium can work with you. But, to begin, the fact that we're able to now digitize all these building codes and standards on the Digital Codes Premium platform. In the past, it was just accessing this content and standards and printed materials or, maybe PDFs. But with Digital Codes Premium, which I may refer to as DCP going forward, we've moved past those limitations of having the content just on paper on someone's bookshelf. Now with the DCP software platform, people are able to access codes everywhere. The information is always up to date, and you can easily collaborate with your team members as you're working with the codes. So as I mentioned, the Digital Codes Premium, what it does is opens up all these features and benefits that are on these next two slides. As you see in Digital Codes Premium Complete, we do have over 1,400. I think we're at like 1,425 different titles of the codes and standards. You also have the ability, when you have opened up the platform and you have those licenses, to be able to collaborate with others. You're able to copy paste on certain code titles. You're able to create notes, bookmarks, highlights, annotate. As I mentioned, the copy, paste, and print, you do have the ability to do and download code section PDFs if you still have need for PDF view in certain circumstances. And then also with these DCP licenses, you are able to configure them so you can put them in a shared group, so multiple people could use a single license. Number of simultaneous use would just be limited by the number of licenses that you have in that shared group. But then it also allows you to collaborate with everyone being able to create notes on certain code sections and be able to share that with others in the group and outside the group. If you haven't tried the free trial, you see that on the bottom there. It's on the home page, and I'll show you that when I switch over to the website. But there is a 14-day free premium trial. It is for complete. It really is free. There's no credit card needed to sign up. You will get immediate access to it, and it gives you opportunity to go through and be able to view the content, use some of these features, and get an idea of how the benefits would work for your organization or municipality. So as I mentioned, Digital Codes Premium is the platform that the codes and standards reside on. Premium doesn't signify a specific group of titles or collections or singles, but you can get different types of license levels in there. As you can see there, the most straightforward, the single Digital Codes Premium license, for example, would be the IBC. You could just get a single title if that's all you have need for. There is also collections. Example, that would be the iCode collection, which does, include the IBC, the IRC, all the other model codes that are in there. And then there's Digital Codes Premium Complete as the third option, which contains just about every one of these singles. Our collections would be included in there. As we expand our content, here's a list of some of the standard development organizations that we work with. There's some that will be included right in there with the Digital Codes Premium Complete. When we started, we used the word complete to signify that it includes all the ICC, the I codes, the commentaries in a complete format. But as people were requesting more content on there, we continue to add as much as we could in the complete. And then additionally, we have add-on titles. I guess I'll point out ASHRAE for an example there in our energy collection. It's not included in complete, but we are able to offer that as an add-on if you'd like to have that. And the other popular one, if you look there in the lower right corner, is the ASTM standards. We do have those that are referenced in the 2021 I codes, all 525 of them in their entirety that you can reference in the digital codes premium complete as well. So there are different models, as I mentioned, the singles, which vary among titles, the collections, which would also vary pricing wise among which collection you chose, and then the premium complete. Currently, it is priced at $720 annually for one license. If you're a non-member, you can still order as well too, but if you do have ICC membership, you do get a significant discount. Just a quick note, we will be increasing the price slightly of the premium complete. That's because we keep putting in more content there. So as I mentioned, we're up to about 1,425 titles that are on there. And, as mentioned, you could order as many licenses as you think would be necessary so your group can be effective. And later on here, I'll go over how you can share those licenses and collaborate as well, too. The other thing I'll mention is that we do price our licenses in a quantity discount. We do put the quantities at a lower number where the price breaks are, so it allows you to start using the codes without having to buy, hundreds at a time, or even 20 or 50. As you can see, the discounts rise there, from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 9. And then finally, the third discount is there's a 3-year plan which offers a significant savings as well too. If you start in a new code cycle, obviously that 3 years a good one to use, so you carries you through to the next cycle as well. I will also mention that we do have a platform called DCP Enterprise. The way the content is displayed to the user is exactly the same. But there are some more administrative tools if you think using the DCP Enterprise would be better for your organization. Sometimes if you have a larger number of people accessing the codes, this allows, for example, the ability to upload users, from a spreadsheet. So if you're putting in 20, 50, or 100 users, it makes it a little bit easier to do. You can activate and deactivate users. The main difference between a DCP Enterprise seat and the DCP licenses, which I'll focus on this presentation, is that these seats on Enterprise are dedicated to individuals. So you'd be getting each one of those people a seat rather than sharing them, as I'll go through with the Digital Codes premium licenses and explain that. So if I do pause every once in a while, it's just because I am checking the chat. So as mentioned, please feel free to go ahead and enter any questions that you have, and I will cover those as well there during the presentation. All right, so let me just rearrange my windows here. Let me actually start out by logging out so I can show you a couple features that are on the main page as you come in. So as you can see, I'm not signed in. The Digital Codes logo is just a green logo here. When you're logged in, it'll signify that you are in premium, but just to show you a couple things here. I'll also mention, for example, like the I codes are available in a free basic view. So if you're a municipality working with homeowners and you need to share code sections with them, they don't necessarily need to come in and copy your IRC book. You can be able to point them to and share a link to a specific code section, and those codes they could view. They wouldn't obviously be able to copy paste or use any of these premium features, but it is easy to share with people who don't have a DCP license because they're not using it as frequently as what you would. If you're with an architecture firm, engineering, we do see the announcement here for the Revit add-in, which allows you to access your premium license while you're within that application and pull in code sections, copy, paste, and use them as you would like within there. Here's where you can locate the free trial. I'll just click on it real quick. Presenting me the free trial here because I'm not signed in. And as mentioned, Just put in your basic information. No need for a credit card. You're not going to be charged anything during the free trial, and it gives you the opportunity to go through all the sections and see how it works, and how it's presented in the platform. So now, as I sign in, what you'll notice is that as I log in here, all right, just checking the chat box here. Someone asked if you have access to the commentary. The commentaries are a collection if you choose just to get those, but the commentaries are also included in the complete. And I'll go through this main box here on the page and go through each one of these sections so you can see what's in there. Someone else had asked if state-specific codes are available, for example, New Jersey. Short answer to New Jersey, yes, we are including those. And the larger answer is that any state that has contracted back with the ICC to produce their amended code in either or both print and electronic format are available on the platform as well too. And I'll give you some more examples as we cover and go through there as well too. All right, so as you can see, I am logged in. Add the word premium underneath there. So now we know that we are able to use these features and everything that we'll go through. As I mentioned, I'll go through each one of these boxes here, but let's just start with the I-codes as an example. So if I click on browsing all the I-codes, first thing you probably notice right there, and one of the advantages of having everything digitized is the fact that you'll have the current cycle and the previous cycles that you can reference as well too. As you can see, 2021 is the most current one. I'll choose 18 just as to show you a couple other items in here. But as we are digitizing those 2024 cycle versions, which will be coming out during the course of this year here, as they are available, they will be put right into your premium license. You don't have to request it. All these updates are done automatically. And just to kind of give you an idea, the advantages it has over print or, PDF. This is the last cycle, the 18 cycle of the IBC, and as you can see, the first version came out in August of 2017, but in total, there was 6 versions during that cycle. So as the errata or any versions are being released, they get automatically put in there and are presented to you first, but if you need to go back, you're able to do that as well too. So up here, it shows the main title. This is the main title page with the overview. Since I'm here, I'll mention this is a favorited heart. So if I've filled it in like it is now, it will appear in my carousel of favorite titles, and I'll show you where you can access those as well too. And then moving over to the left side, it's like the code sections works just like a table of content. I can expand out each of these code sections. I can then jump right to the code sections and subsections. And as this pops up, I see a couple things from this section that I did want to touch on. There are the text font in blue, just to let you know, and I'll show this legend information, I guess, since I brought this up. Any of the items or icons that you see in here, there is a legend that allows you to see what they mean. For example, I just showed you the blue text. That's going to indicate a change from the previous cycle of this I-code section. You had questions on the amended state codes. Those changes that are different from the international codes would be shown in a red text, and there are some cities and counties that have produced their local amendments as well too. That would be in that fuchsia pink color text. Margin icons to identify deleted sections. These icons here are part of the feature set that I'm going to go through and show you individually. And then these icons here that would occur on the top of sections that have this content in it, may as well explain it while I'm here, but the ES logo would show that there are evaluation services report by the ICC ES division for products that would be related to these code sections where you would see that icon. Errata is pretty self-explanatory. It'll show any identified errata from there in that section. The premium material kind of combines quite a few different premium titles like significant changes to code interpretations. Also, there are videos of the code development process hearings, and that's what that final icon is. So any proposed changes to the I-codes It will have those documents, and I'll show those since I'm here as well. If I scroll down a little bit, see if one section has it. If not, I will circle back to it as to not make you dizzy by scrolling. So what I did want to point out then, and I will go back to each one of these icons as I see them pop up, but for there we go, there's supplemental content revision history on that. And if you noticed as I was scrolling through, here was a note that was created before. So this is an example as if you have a individual license that you're using just for yourself, all your notes will be retained in here. So you'll be able to access them as you're scrolling through the content and also on your notes index. But this is also how it would look if you're sharing a group of licenses in a concurrent group where multiple people could be making notes on the code sections. And if you enter in that section, you'll be able to see this one note was created with a highlight in it. You can see who created it. You can see the project tags, which you can organize your notes with, and then any notes that were created in there. And I'll scroll down a little bit to create a new note so you can see how that works as well too. So as we're scrolling through, you can see these waffles here on the right-hand edge. And let me just go down to something with the subsection. Let me choose this one. So when I click on the waffle, here's those icons that I talked about that open out. You have access to open up these features. I guess before I even show you those, probably the most useful feature this unlocks is you can now, I just highlighted it, so I could copy this and paste it into a Word document or an email, however you may be communicating with a homeowner or something that you would want to be able to copy that. That feature is now unlocked since you have a Digital Codes premium license. I'm going to leave that highlighted and talk about these first two icons. These both will open up a note dialog box. First one will leave the text highlighted like I'm doing here. I'll use that first. The second one's a bookmark and it won't highlight. But as I open it up, here's that text dialog box. And if I go through and, you can create any type of notes in here. Has a strong text editor where you're able to, do strikeouts, bold, italicize. You can add bullet points. You can additionally add media, a picture, a video, anything else will be there you can contain. And then I think I just clicked off it there, it's going through. Any of these project tags allow you to organize these notes. Now, with this, as I'm doing the demo here, these are previous project tags. If you're, as I mentioned, sharing or collaborating in a group, anyone can create a project tag, and those will be available from this pick box for you to use as well too. If you want to create a new tag, you could, create whatever you want to call it and choose whatever color you would like. Quick tip here, choose a lighter color up at the top because if you do highlight things, it'll be easier to see than if it's a darker one. So as I save this here, as you see, it did leave my highlight there. So just to mention this one real quick, this is just a bookmark. It wouldn't have highlighted that text, but you could still create that same note that would be attached to it. So this was a highlighted note. There's the custom notes that I put in there. There's the new tag that I created. And once again, it just confirms that I had made that in a group. Each person who had created that note, it would have their own created by. If the notes get too long, you can collapse them there. Just show you that real quickly. And then going through here, the next and third icon is a share icon. So if I were to click on this one, you could generate an email to whomever you want. Just enter their email address in here. Just a quick note to let you know the email will come from ICC support. So in case they're not expecting an email from us, feel free to just copy the URL. I think most people do that, copies it to the clipboard. Then you can use your own email software to send that out. But here's where I was going back where there's advantages. For example, with the iCodes, it's free basic view. So what it did is it takes that exact URL, and when you send the email to someone and they click on that link, it will open up to this exact code section. Now, obviously, they're not going to be able to view your notes in there. They can't copy, paste, or print or anything, but it's convenient where you can tell them the exact code section that you're referencing, and they still have the ability to scroll through if there's any related subsections on there that they want to read as well. Final icon here is a print icon. So when I select this, you do have the ability to print from digital codes. Obviously, you can't print out the entire book or chapters, but you can print sections with subsections. So that's why I chose this one. Did have subsections, so it does give me a choice which one I want to choose. And if I choose print with subsections, as you can see, it's short, but it did include the subsection there, formats it in a nice PDF format. As you can see, it does show that it's from the authoritative source, comes from the ICC. You could send this right to the printer with your print icon there. But what also becomes convenient, I know some people still have a need for like a PDF format. You are able to then download this file to your desktop. You can use your PDF editor software to, mark that up, and then you can save that. So can't print entire books here, excuse me, can't use PDFs of the entire books, but for the code sections that you would like to have, it does open that up and you are able to download it by those sections as well too. All right, so I covered all those icons there. To continue my conversation about the notes and kind of show you how that can be powerful. In this 2018 IBC, from the code section there, I just clicked on the orange where it read My Notes. This will list every one of the codes, excuse me, any of the codes that have a note. It is a hyperlink, so I was able to jump right to that. So if you're looking here and you want to see what notes were created in each individual title, you are able to. If you end up having hundreds of notes and you want to filter them out, then you can do that just by selecting that. And then you can filter them and be able to just view the notes that you want to be able to have access to. So I'll remove that and they all show back up again. So continuing on with the final part of being able to create these notes on your licenses, I'm going to go to the left-hand side, the Premium Tools menu. And here's where notes and bookmarks. As I mentioned, the notes are both bookmarks and highlights. So any type of notes that you have made in here will be displayed here. So this is, I have an individual license, so any book that I created notes in will be in here. There are, if you're in a shared group, anyone that's created notes in any of the titles, those would be in there as well too. So let me open this up and expand out. I have 5 notes in the IRC. Once again, you could use this as a hyperlink and jump right to it. You could print out these notes across multiple titles if you choose and would like to have that. The other thing that becomes a powerful tool is, for example, this is 2021 IRC. If I select all these notes, and as mentioned, 2024 is coming out this year, I can then take all those hundreds, thousands of notes, whatever you have, and move them into the 2024. If you move them by, selecting move, it's going to delete them from 2021 and just put them in 2024. You also have the option to keep them in the 2021 and clone them into 2024. So kind of convenient here where, yes, you are able to take all those notes, no more moving your sticky notes or rewriting margins. All those can be cloned right into the next cycle. If the code section has changed where it's located in the chapter or the book, or the numbers changed, it is intelligent enough to know if that occurred and put that note within the correct code section of the context that the note was created in a previous cycle. All right, so, and like I said, I will go through each one of these rectangles to explain it, but I just wanted to go through all those icons with the features that open up on each code section and explain the notes. What I will show you now is our advanced search functionality. Let me check chat real quick. No one has posted any new questions yet, so I will continue on. So I'm on the home page and I'm doing a global search. Actually, let me point out something real quickly here too. Let me put in a title. Perhaps you may be searching for a title because you could search for both content, contextually searches, or for titles. So I put in SEOC there. If I were just to hit return, it would just bring me content results for SEOC. just wanted to show you that if you're using it and looking for titles, if you scroll down a little bit, it is presenting those titles of the covers there. And as you see, it says see all titles for SEOC. So if I chose that instead of just hitting return up there, it's going to show me those titles. So let me clear that out and then use my famous example of means of egress. If you wanted to guess, you'd probably think there was a lot of results that will be returned. And yes, it's just almost 33,000. So I will note that if you are starting in a title like we were in IBC before, it will default to just search within that title. But just kind of wanted to show you how you could refine it using a vast number of results. So obviously that you may not use it in this way, but just wanted to show you, and it's described on the left-hand side if you're doing a smaller search, how you can refine it. So I'm going to choose iCodes. That's going to be the category, drops it down to just under 1,600. But here's the example. If you're looking just where it may occur in, New Jersey was the question asked before, California, you could use that as a category refinement. Next one that's probably of most interest if you're going in this manner would be the cycle. So I'll select 2021 and it brings me down to 640. I'll leave it there for a minute and just explain the rest of these ones. You could limit it to just a few titles within 2021 iCodes, or you can look for something as specific as the content type. Could be figures, tables, equations. You could narrow it down to there. But of these 640 results, just kind of showing you, it gives a preview of the search result, tells you what title it came from. If you click on those ellipses there, it expands out so you can see, okay, this one's from IBC, this one's from IFC, and you are able to, once again, see that preview. And if I jump right to the code subsection, kind of nice, it opens up in a new tab. So you're not having to click the back button. And I just reminded me there's an example of the CDP icon. So let me just pull that up since we're here. So this shows a proposal under consideration. It shows who the proponents were, the reason to revise, impact, cost impact, or anything. So those will be in their entirety. Any changes proposed to each one of those code sections you would find with that cdpACCESS right there in the logo. If this is a search that you use frequently, you can save it and that will be in your dashboard. But let me clear it out just to show you the advanced term search. And I see a couple questions here, but let me finish up on here and then I'll circle back and answer that. So I am on the search page still, but instead of searching up in the global search there, you see this advanced term search. And this opens up this dialog box. So, you could be looking for that exact phrase, like that means of egress. Or you could do an all, any, or none search of words that you specify in there. And then at the bottom here, this is called a near-term search. I'll use egress as the example again, but this time I'm going to put a second word in there for basement. And what this does is it will look for two words that occur within 50 words of each other in a code section. So it narrowed it down even further there. And once again, you can jump right to any of those code sections as well as you're looking at them on the preview. Question was asked, external documents be downloaded and saved as notes? Yes, I guess it would be considered uploaded. So you can use a file. Just pop right to this section here. As an example, so if I'll create the book note and then, any file that you have, I'll just use that as a picture, for example. You could put those agreements or anything else in there could be uploaded. So yeah, I guess the correct phrase would be, yes, you can upload different types of media, videos, and things like that that you could put in there as well too. And since I'm in the 2021 IRC, let's test this out right here. Actually, let me click off so you can see. Now let me jump back in there. 2018. All right, see up in the search bar, since I am in a title now, it will search just across the 2018 iCodes. So if I put that in there, what it does is, we're down to 19 results, but if you can see over to the left, all those refinements there, it actually already did that refinement of narrowing it down just to the I codes, just to 218, and then just to the IRC. So you don't have to search across all of your library. If you're within a title, you can search immediately from there as well. All right, let me just quickly go through each of these different categories, and then I'll discuss how you can configure and deploy your licenses. All right, the I-codes we did cover. It's pretty self-explanatory after seeing some of those examples. Once again, great thing is that you have previous cycles and future cycles as they get updated will all be automatically dropped within your platform for whatever license content that you are holding. Standards. So the list of standard, I guess I can say this, all of our titles will have a reference standard chapter at the end. So any standard that is referenced, you would be able to see where it came from, what the exact reference was. As mentioned, as we continue to add all these new, this new content into our Digital Codes Premium Complete, it depends on the type of licensing agreement that we have with them. Some of them will be accessible with all those digital features that I showed you with copy paste, making notes. Some of them may be in just a view only mode. I guess I'll point this out, ASTM, just to give you an example. All 525 ASTM standards referenced in the 2021 I codes are included in here. But here's an example. If you see, if I go right to the content, it is in a view only because that's the way ASTM wanted this presented on our platform, but it is in its entirety. So even though you can't copy, paste, or make notes, you do have access to the entire standard there with on your Digital Codes Premium platform. And I did mention there's maybe some other titles. ASHRAE, for example, is one of those where they are available due to licensing. It couldn't be included on the complete platform, but if you wanted to get any of these single titles, those are available to put on as another license to your account. Locations, this is where we'd ask about, let me pull up New Jersey since that was a specific question. And as you probably asked that question, you knew that New Jersey went to a new cycle. So they provided us with the building and the residential code. As you can see, there's the previous versions as well. And these regular I-code titles, I guess you can call them, that's going to be the current year of adoption that they have in effect. If we were not given their amended code, then we won't have that that book. For example, I know like Hawaii, they do amend the I codes, but they just produce those changes and put them on their own state website. Pull up California, they just went through a new a new cycle change. They do work with us to create their content here in the digital and print format. And I'm just seeing if I pull up any of these where you see the red text in there. You can see the blue text, they're still indicating that it was a change from the I codes. I'm not going to make you dizzy by scrolling all over, but any place there would be a change from the model I codes that was amended in California, it will be in red type. Now I'm just dying to find one here and I forget where they're going to be at. Anyways, not to beat that one. Any changes in California amended code will be in red text. All right, continuing through. The commentaries. That's what I wanted to get to. So once again, this does include all previous cycles. I'll make a couple comments here that people really enjoy about having this digitized in the fact that it's code. You see the qualifier word there and commentary. So you could actually use the code and commentary library for your regular code referencing lookup. Once again here, as I show you, it has, all the icons that I had demonstrated in the previous, just the code book. But if you wanted to hide the commentary, you could. So this will read just like the 2021 IRC does. I've hidden the commentary, and when I show it, it expands out. And if you're familiar with the commentary sections, any of those diamond paragraphs would be that commentary that provides extra insight to some code sections that may be short and just could use a little bit more explanation. The commentaries are not available in a free view, but if you're using this, that your license does allow you to copy and paste and use this if you're communicating directly, with the homeowner or something like that. So it is kind of convenient that you can copy and paste if more specific explanation needs to be provided. And once again, cool feature about that is that you can turn the commentary on and off if you're just scrolling through it as a regular code section. Resource, probably the more popular ones here that we've grouped under this green rectangle as the revision history and significant changes. But when I talk to individual people, the study companions and flashcards, if you are taking an exam, we've added these over the summer. Kind of cool where you can go through and, test on these questions. When the answer pops up, actually can go right to that direct link. Opened up the new one there, got too many tabs open, but it gives you the exact reference section and you can click and read more for it. Also, quick note, if anyone is, has people in the organization that take test certifications on the Pronto exam environment, they will be allowing the option to use digital codes in the exam environment as an option, or you're still allowed to use your books. Open book test, you can bring those texts in there, but they're looking to allow this to be used, and it should be announced within the next month on your Pronto exam system environment. So all the features that I showed you wouldn't be available, for example, like the advanced search functionality and access to your notes, but basically it's like the free basic view I showed you at the beginning. So you don't necessarily have to buy a printed book solely for the use of taking an exam. You could actually be using your license to be going through the study companions and the codes and everything else. And then since you're familiar with it, how the system platform operates, you can look up your code information in there as well too, or you still have the option to have that printed book in there as well. Topics, we tried to group some other different topics in here that are related. The green sustainabilities, you can access them through there as well too. Publishers, well, there's SEAC as mentioned before. You could just access them through there. And then I saw Wiley here, for example. There's a few titles in there. That would be an example of these are extra licenses that you could add on. They're not included to complete, but we continue to add much more content on at no charge. Any other content that we are able to offer as an option, you'll be able to view those as well too. So there, for example, is the Premium Complete, which I'll focus on. That's what most people go to. The Energy Collection is the one that has those ASHRAE and a few of the other books in there as well too. The California Collection would be another one. Premium Complete ends up being the best value if you're going to add multiple collections or titles together. You'll probably get over the price of what the premium is. So I'll just use this as an example as I'll discuss how you can configure your licenses. So if I go over to, let me go to premium features just as an example. This is accessible on the website. Being able to share and collaborate. And then where's the Teams one? Basically, what it allows you to do is you are able to buy any number of licenses that you want. So let's just use an example. You have an office of 30 people. If you want all 30 people to have access to codes, but you have a group that may not be accessing them as frequently as others, you are not required to buy each one of those people a license to have access. So when you acquire a license on our shop, I think I got it listed over here. Okay, here I am logged in, for example. Since I'm here, I may as well mention those 3 discounts that are available. If you're signed in as an ICC member, it will apply a discount. Regular price is $9.60, so you can see it's significant. And then quantity breaks are also available, and those are shown in that chart as I hover over that information. And then third and final one is if you bill every 3 years. So let's say you got those 30 people and you get let's say 10 licenses, not 190. So when you acquire those 10 licenses, they would go in the administrator's account. Now, let's say you have two people that need their own access and they don't want to share because they don't want to be locked out because everyone's using an available spot. You could take two of those licenses and assign them to the individuals, and they will always have their own access because that particular license was assigned to them. Other feature that people like about doing that is that then their notes are kept private to themselves. Some people like it that way. Some people also don't like to see, everyone else's notes that are in there. So notes are either, kept viewed to a single user's license, or if you create a group, then everyone can view those. So let's take those remaining 8 licenses, and what you could do is you could put 4 in one group and 4 in another group. And then the name of those groups you could distribute to those specific people. Everyone logs in with their own account, but the next step is once they logged in, they would enter a concurrent code, and I'll show you how to do that on mine there. But basically what that would do is it would allow, for example, that 4 licenses, if you shared it among 12 people, all 12 people would be able to log into that group, make notes, view the content. The only limitation would be that only 4 of those 12 could be in there at the same time, because that's the number of licenses that you put in there. If you find you need to have more licenses, as I mentioned, I gave that example, you could split up groups. Maybe it's a high use group and with fewer people in it, and you got a low use group that has more people per license. You can configure them however you want. They all start out as individual licenses, and then you can configure them. So basically, for someone to access it, everyone makes their own account, so you're not sharing account login information. And also it helps because then you can see who has created the notes, because it will take that person's login information as notes are created as they're logged in. So someone who is going into a shared group, their name would show up there, would not have any of those complete diamonds there because they don't have their own individual license. They're going to go into a shared concurrent group, and that's what this icon is over here. So it's just one step logging in. Second step, they go in and enter the name of the group. Once they have entered the name of the group once, it will show up as a previously used code, so they don't have to remember it every time. So if I use that and click on there, what you'll see in the upper right-hand corner is my name is gone, and it is showing the name of the group. So if you have a complete license in the group that you're sharing, it will say complete in there. And while they are logged in under that group name, they will have access to all the titles in there. When they are done in the group, if they use this to click here to exit concurrent access, it will immediately release that spot. As you can see, the group name is gone. My name is back. So their spot that they were taken while in there is now released. If for some reason they just close their browser or log out without doing that, or they go to lunch, or they go on a 3-day weekend, there is an auto logout feature. After 20 minutes of inactivity in a shared group, that person will be logged out, so they're not monopolizing it and taking up that spot for everyone. So kind of a convenience there where people forget to sign out. It won't be stuck having one license being used by that person to log them out after 20 minutes. All right, I think I have covered just about everything. I went a little bit longer usually than I do, but I still got 10 more minutes here to answer any questions. So feel free to post if someone's got a question they want to unmute themselves for. I think you are able to do that. So feel free to post any final questions here, and then I'll turn off the recording. And if people still want to stay on for some specific questions, how it may relate to their organization, I will take care of those as well too. As I'm waiting for people to put any questions that might be remaining, I just wanted to show you everything on the left-hand side, just in case, most of this is pretty self-explanatory, but I did want to go through anything that you may find on here as you're going through your free trial. All these browse contents are repeated. Those are the same topics that came from the made page. I went through all of those green rectangles that you could access them. The favorites down here would be those titles that I filled the heart in on. Premium features kind of just goes over what I've done here. The webinars, any um, previous webinars that I've done, you could review again. As mentioned, this will be sent out to everyone after it's been converted. And then the Revit add-in, there's more information on that as well too. If I click on the premium tools, my notes and bookmarks I did cover. Sharing history, I had mentioned that. It'll keep track if you have shared notes with people who you did that with. The license configuration, I didn't dive too far into. I kind of explained how you can do it, but that's the admin board for you to configure and deploy your licenses. If you get to that point and you got licenses you want to deploy, you can feel free to contact me and I can assist with that. Notes and bookmarks, already went over the project tags. If you want to manage those, delete those, edit them, you can do that. Some people choose to create a project tag list of, if other people are using a shared group. You can tell them, only use the project tags that I've created in there. Don't create your own, so you can create and edit them from there. The content search is just another way to get to that global search screen. And then dashboard, I know I said or explained right at the very beginning, this will present recently viewed titles. As you can see, those are the ones we just opened up. If you have favorited any of those titles by filling in that orange heart, those will be here for easy access. And then recently added, as mentioned, we keep adding more content here. So if you want to see any new, whatever new titles were created to your license level, those will be shown there as well too. All right, going back to the main website where we began. No one has posted any questions. I'll make a call out to anyone that wants to ask a question in public while we're recording. Feel free, raise your hand if you can't turn on your microphone. And no one has taken me up on that. So what I will do is I will now end the recording, but I will stay on to answer any specific questions. But this concludes my presentation here. So let me stop the recording.